Before the turkey can go in the oven today, we have to stuff it, and that means stuffing is up first. Our croutons from last night sat out and dried out a little bit, but we want to just make sure that they're just starting to get a little bit golden. So we're toasting them up ever so slightly in the oven before we mix in the rest of the ingredients. All our vegetables are pre-washed, so it's time to chop them up. If you have a food processor, it can save some time, but I don't mind slicing these up by hand. I like to add just one red onion, not too much, not too little. I'm just going to dice up a little bit of garlic. I don't want to add too much garlic because the flavor is a little domineering, but we definitely want it in there for the vampires. Actually, let's run it through here. Now that we've got all our vegetables chopped up, we'll move over to the stovetop and melt some butter. We're going to get this thing fired up. We want high heat. Now we're going to add some butter. Let that get a little bit melty before we throw in our veg. We're using a high heat, so I want to keep this butter moving. I don't want it to brown or burn. But once I add the vegetables, the temperature of this thing's going to come down enough where it won't be an issue anymore. Just give it a good mix, trying to get that butter circulating. Once these start to cook up, this whole place is going to smell fantastic. All right, our stuffing veggies are starting to cook up real nice. I'm gonna hit it with a splash more butter, and in a minute or two, I'm gonna hit it with some salt and pepper. Now that we're cooking down, I've reduced the heat. We'll let that butter melt up so we don't stick to the pan. All right, our veggies are cooked and they're even starting to brown just a bit. So it is time to mix them in with our croutons. We've got our veggie and the crouton mixture here. We just want to mix it up thoroughly, and then it'll be ready to go in the bird. We've got a good start. Now we have just one more ingredient, some chicken broth. We want to add just about a cup. And then we'll mix it up some more. All right, we're ready to go.
This part's really simple. We're gonna make a Cajun rub for the turkey. Now we've done this before, but we usually put it on the smoker. This time we're gonna do it in the oven, so it's gonna be a little bit different. That's how we innovate around here. So in this goes salt, paprika, cayenne, fresh thyme, onion powder, garlic powder, oregano, pepper. Now just give it a good mix, incorporate everything. And now it's time to rub down our bird. But unlike last time, you don't have to turn on the red light. We drained the turquarium and washed it off. Before we rub the turkey, we want to stuff it. Now I've never stuffed a turkey before, though I do have a lot of experience stuffing other things. Usually a chicken, or sometimes a pork chop. But Mark is an expert at stuffing chickens and turkeys and all kinds of other things. So he tells me, make sure you fill this thing good, but don't like jam it all in there and get crazy, because it's gonna expand a little bit. And just liberally apply the rub. At this point, you want to tie the legs together, so that way they don't get all when it starts cooking. Now I'll take the vegetables that Mark cut up earlier with some fresh thyme and, as an ode to the Cajun seasoning, some bell pepper. And then finally, some chicken broth. There you have it, folks. She's been stuffed, she's been rubbed, and now she's gonna go take a nap in the oven at 325 for about 3 hours, 45 minutes. We'll baste her along the way and keep an eye out for how it looks.
All right, we're gonna make a side dish. First up is a sweet potato, call it casserole, it's casserole. We are gonna take 3 big sweet potatoes and cut them up like julienne fries, hopefully. There we go. And once we have these diced up, we are going to submerge them in water, boil them until they are cooked. All right, by cutting them up, we've created more surface area, so they're going to cook more quickly when they're boiled in the water. All right, nice and hot, we got to boil the heck out of these things. While we've got the water in there, I'm just going to add a splash of olive oil. And once it starts to heat up, I'll add the sweet potatoes. So we can see our potatoes are done when they easily break up in the water. Now the skin's gonna hold together, but I should consistently be able to easily break them in half so we know that they're fully cooked. So we'll take them, drain them, and then over to the blender. So just to loosen this up a little bit, we're gonna give it a quick twirl. The secret with this side item is to add so much sugar that your kids can't say no to it, even though they're a huge pain in the ass. So I'm gonna add some brown sugar, a little heavy whipping cream, some marshmallows, some butter, pulse that a few times, and then add the rest of the ingredients. So I've got some pumpkin pie spice and some ground cinnamon. And that's it. Now we're gonna watch it, make sure it's good and blended. The beauty is that it's already cooked. So we'll add some topping to it. It'll go in the oven for a couple minutes and then it's done.
There's always one.
So just got some butter. We're gonna wipe it around the inside of our pan here, kind of prevent it from getting sticky and weird. We like a nice presentation here, but on Thanksgiving, save yourself some time. Now we'll top it off with some marshmallows and then into the oven. All right, tops of our marshmallows are a nice golden brown. We're gonna get them out of the oven. And they are ready to serve.
So the cheesecake's almost ready. Just one more step. It's time to make the caramel topping. So first we're gonna add some sugar. Combine that with a little water. And give it a little swirl. Now it starts to boil and darken up. We're gonna turn off the heat and add a little cream. And a pinch of salt. Here's where the Kentucky comes in. A little bit of bourbon. Okay, a little bit more than a lot of bourbon. And finally, some coffee. Mix it all together, remove, and put it in the fridge. And it'll thicken up and taste delicious.
With this next side item, we're gonna kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Something grilled, something with bacon in it, and a vegetable. So we're gonna do grilled asparagus. First, we're gonna make our marinade. We're gonna pour some soy sauce in here. Just a splash of Worcestershire, that stuff. Some sesame oil. And some rice vinegar. We'll set this to the side. Next, we're gonna cut our bacon strips into thirds. I like the tips, so that's what we're gonna use. Set the rest of that trash out of the way. Now we're just gonna wrap up our asparagus so it's ready for the grill. Once it's wrapped up, I drop it into the marinade, and I'm holding them together with toothpicks that I've had soaking in water. And that's gonna prevent them from burning up once they're on the grill. Our turkey's ready to go. It looks beautiful. I've taken a nibble or two. It's delicious. We're gonna unload the stuffing into a bowl, and then it's time to carve the turkey. The first thing I'm gonna do is remove these big old drumsticks and just get them out of the way. Now for me, depending on how many people I'm going to feed and how big the bird is, my estimate of how much turkey we're going to eat the first sitting will kind of dictate how much I carve. So I'm only going to carve up about half of the breast off of this turkey and save the other as a whole piece to prevent it from drying out later. The last step, we've got our turkey out, carved up. We're gonna take the drippings from the pan, heat it up on the stovetop. I'm gonna throw a bay leaf in, we'll drain it, and then mix it up in our Ninja, make some gravy. So in lieu of making a roux, I'm gonna add a little cornstarch in the Ninja. We're just gonna blend this up. Now I'm just going to add flour a little at a time until it's the consistency I want. Yep, that is perfect. We're expecting our Cajun gravy to have a bit of a kick. It's really good.
Now it's time for dessert. So we're going to take our pumpkin cheesecake and we're going to add the Kentucky caramel sauce that we made. It's going to taste effing amazing. So just pour this on top. Let it sit for about 10 minutes to cool off. Slice and enjoy the rest of your evening with your family. So to friends and family, thanks for joining us on this special evening. And may your heartaches not be painful and your hangovers not last long. Cheers.
I'm going to plug it in first.
Because that wasn't awkward. But like every Thanksgiving, it should be.